This is TWiT.
So we'll get back to Liquid Glass, iPad OS, but before I want to show you something while he's still here. Coming to us from a forest somewhere nearby, Anthony Nielsen wearing his Vision Pro with the brand new, all new Persona that actually, first of all, looks like you, Anthony.
That looks a lot more like Anthony, yeah.
Sounds like you. Still a little bit blurry, but boy, that's realistic. When you squint, when you wink your eye, you see wrinkles, and I mean, it looks real. That's pretty good.
Better.
I think that's
definitely so much more misty and blurred, and the person vaguely looked like themselves. But now I could recognize that
it's not so creepy.
Like it's someone's high school photo, and they're dreaming about that person. You know, in the background, it's kind of
it's a dream. Like you're in a dream, Anthony. No, but I think it's much more usable. Much more usable. So, in fact, I think that was the single biggest
hands.
Oh, and the other thing that Anthony's really excited about is the ability, and this was rumored before, to use the PlayStation VR2 Sense controller. So you now have controllers for your hands, which is important for gaming, I think.
One thing that a lot of us found, a bunch of us got into after hours or in office hours during the show, and we were all just watching it. And one of the things that was funny is as soon as we saw them drawing in 3D, everyone searched for the Logitech Muse, and there was nothing. Nothing was there. Like there was,
this is the pencil that they showed.
The pencil, but they didn't. But the Logitech Muse, they didn't have a
doesn't
website.
Exist.
It now does. There's now a web page, and there was like this 6-line press release that says this will be available later this year. So obviously, Logitech didn't have all their ducks in a row when this was.
You're going to talk about it,
but.
Why would you want this as a design tool? It's
like
you draw in the air.
I saw that. I was like, take my money. Like just this is like it. I'm ready to. I'll pay for it now and wait for 6 months for this. I mean, if it was a Kickstarter. So the problem is that we've had Meta had this, Oculus had this, HTC has it, where you can take the controllers and you have these little pointers and you can kind of paint, but it feels like you're drawing with bricks. And being able to have a pen and be able to do it like it's basically like a Wacom tablet, but in 3D. And being able to draw and to do those things is going to be, and there's some great, I already watched a talk, one of the sessions was about how to build your own sculpting tool with it. So it has haptic response. So it's a pen, and as you hit the surface, it vibrates to let you know you're pushing into the surface.
Neat.
Yeah.
That's neat.
And so it is, and this is the beginning,
or you could draw on an actual surface, and then you would really know.
Yeah,
but I don't want to be a skeptic.
The thing is that when you're trying to clay is pretty it's messy,
right?
So
now you can draw on clay and not be messy.
But again, when you start doing character development and character design and so on and so forth, like they're showing like little let's just play and make push some stuff.
Well, it's kind of like squidge when you push it into the clay and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
Push it. So there's
I
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There have been. I was in an R&D facility in the late 90s that had this, but it had gloves that would actually push back against your fingers.
Gloves,
SGI, and it's like a $4 million room. And it was a huge cable that came down from the ceiling that was suspended on a helmet, and you'd go, give me a sphere this big, and when you grabbed onto the vertices, you could feel them as you pulled them apart. And I was like, this is going to be the future of modeling. We're 25 years later, almost 30 years later, we still haven't seen it. But this is almost all the character, when you look at a 3D model of characters for Marvel or for Star Wars or whatever, almost all of them are being sculpted in 3D, and they're using, a lot of them are there are a variety of proprietary tools. The most popular public tool is called ZBrush, and ZBrush lets you paint into 3D, and so this is going to let you do that. But the problem really is when you're doing it in ZBrush, when you're painting in ZBrush, the problem is you have this 2D flat plane that you're sitting there drawing through, and you have to kind of think about it. Whereas this is going to let you walk around it, look at it, sculpt it. I think that it's going to be pretty powerful. And again, it's not that it hasn't been possible before, but the tools were really pretty crude in Oculus and HTC, and using those controllers just felt like you were drawing with a rock all the time. So I think that this, now what they're showing it for is just measuring things and drawing things out and everything else, and that's great too. But I think that there's a lot that's going to happen with this, with starting to have better controls.
In order to make this and the PlayStation controllers work, they had to increase the frame rate of the hand tracking to 90 hertz, which is everybody's very excited about that, right, Anthony? You're excited about that? 90 hertz, holy cow! It's much smoother.
Yeah,
I guess. More
the
detail.
gaming experience as it wasn't.
You
too
need
great.
that. Yeah. Also, look to scroll, and we were all wondering how the hell's that going to work. Do you look at the scroll bar and then go up and down with your eyes?
What is that like?
I guess if you're looking at a scrollable page, if you look down, it'll go down. I
haven't done anything in here besides create the.
You had to
persona.
Put the developer beta on there.
I just got it on like an hour ago, so I haven't really messed around.
You know what? The other thing that's very impressive, and they talked a little bit about this happening to the AirPods later this year. The audio quality in your Vision Pro is very good. You sound like you're on a mic.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what I sound like, but from
I could tell you sound very good. That's, I don't know. Is that better than it was, Alex? It sounds like
Apple's been doing. I don't know if it's any better. Apple does an incredible job at the
parsing.
I called my wife and she picked up. I said, "What are you talking on?" And she's like, "My watch."
Yeah, no, that's true.
So a lot of the algorithms that they're using have gotten extremely good at getting rid of reflection, getting rid of exterior noise. All of those things have gotten much better. And so I think that this is just another. I think those things are crossing over between the iPad and the MacBooks and the watch and the phone. And the Apple's probably the best at it right now as far as a piece of hardware that does it.
Wow. Yeah. So anyway, that was our back door to the Vision Pro segment. Sorry about that. But I didn't want Anthony to have to stay in that thing all day. So I was just really impressed with the all new personas, the new controllers, the higher frame rate. Couldn't you stick a clock to the wall before? I know you could leave your apps before.
It's such not. I've talked to a couple of people that are pretty excited about it. It's just so not how I use my Vision Pro that I would care about where things are. I don't put it on and walk around the room and go to a bunch of other places. But I
remember Jason Snell losing his settings in the garage.
Yeah, but especially after
you tap
reboot,
the crown. I have
definitely lose tracking of stuff.
So this preserves it past a reboot, like it just keeps it.
From what I understand, it's like it'll pin to that like specific room. And before you would see things in other rooms, even when you left that room, like through the wall. But now, it like you won't see everything in your house, even though your second one room.
That's a big.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
now we understand.
The actual sort of structure of the home obscures. Yeah, because I can remember going upstairs and looking down and still seeing that in the living room there was a screen there, and now it would be obscured by the actual floor, which is nice. So really quick though, it sounds like the both of you are saying it's very rare that you ever move around in it. It's more of a stationary device for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's really designed that way. So there are reasons to do it. There are, so there's things like if you use something like Jig Space, you might want to walk around something, but you need kind of an open space to do that. There are things you want to show if you want to be shown something, but rarely am I. Like my use case is usually I find a comfortable place with a lot of open space around me so that I can look at stuff. But I'm usually the immersive stuff is expecting you to. In fact, it warns you if you start moving. It starts to like, hey, I don't think you should do that. You can't see anything. And then a lot of the other viewing. If I'm watching a movie, I'm creating a virtual 200-inch screen screen in front of me and watching a film. So those are the kind of things that I'm not really moving for. There's one app that Adam Savage talked about, and I can't think of it off the top of my head, that X-rays your whole house as you walk around. That one you walk around a lot.
I've seen a demo of that. Yeah, it's like a photogrammetry kind of thing almost.
Well, it's using the LiDAR for it, and it just slowly builds a mesh of your entire house as you walk through. And what's interesting is you see all these relationships between rooms that you didn't
know. On the other side of that wall is my garage.
In your head is like I had this thing like I have to run some wires to one of my rooms, and I thought I had to go through all this stuff, and I realized, oh no, that room is just sitting right over top of my basement. Like I can just go right up through the floor, but it's not how it. It's not how it lived in my head, like it was, and so it's fascinating.
There's some new environments. Anthony, the chat room's asking you to change your backdrop to Jupiter. Do you have Jupiter?
I haven't really messed with the Zoom app here, so I'm not exactly sure.
You know what's really cool? The lip sync is excellent. I'm thinking about 30, more than that, years ago when I played Dev Null and I had to wear a bodysuit
Yeah.
And I had to have puppeteers, and I was hooked up to a Silicon Graphics Onyx, and the lip sync wasn't even close to this good.
Well, and this is good. I mean, of course, Epic released MetaHuman.
I'm sure it's even better now.
But Epic released MetaHuman last week, and it was. It blew me away. Like
what would you wear to get MetaHuman? Would it just be a camera?
2 web cameras.
Wow.
Like 2 Brios, 2 little Brios.
The exact same
with 2
webcam I'm using right
Brios
now.
and MetaHuman, you could be a virtual character.
It's a virtual face.
real
So
time.
one of them's pointed at your face, and the other one's pointed at your body.
Wow.
And the MetaHuman, you can build it, move it around, adjust it, and then say, okay, that's what I want. And it's already been rigged for you. So all you got to do now is apply motion capture to it. And again, it's really good in real time, and then it can do post processing to make it even better in post. So it's truly impressive. It's the demo that they did last week is one of the more amazing demos I've seen about doing animation, other than the thousands of Stormtrooper AI videos that came out over the weekend that were hilarious.
This is Unreal Engine 5, right?
5.6, I think.
Okay.
If you do a search for, like, in the YouTube, if you do a search for the MetaHuman, there's like a 5-minute MetaHuman clip from the stage, from their keynote, and that's where you'll see the demo of it. That's just
so. Do you buy this? It's
free.
So, can I put it?
Epic.
Okay.
It's epic.
So I would put this on my laptop. Do I need Windows?
You could put it. Windows is going to run better. I think it will run on the Mac, but you really want like a game machine, like a 4090 card with it, or even a probably 2090 might 20.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do have a Linux box with all that fancy stuff in it.
I don't know what Unreal does with Linux, but it could work. And
it says it'll run on Linux. So
okay, there you go. Yeah.
And I would attach 2 cameras to that, and then I could be in it. I would like to have a virtual character. I'm just saying, then I wouldn't have to dress up.
Let's see if I can.
Let's turn this episode. Actually, we'll just
everybody
walk
put on
Leo.
their helmets. Yeah,
we'll walk Leo through the process of installing this, and we'll just have
we won't do that. No.
How do you know that one of us isn't doing that already?
Speaking of content creation, they also said they're now going to support the Instacam. This is the X5 natively. Is that a big deal, Alex, for content creation? I don't have to buy an Ursa.
So they have to make it more available to other things. The one thing I haven't been able to drive down into is whether the Canon dual lenses are being supported in stereo. But what it means is that for Insta360 and the GoPros and the some of the Canons, you can
Those
get
are much
the 360 and 180
than anything else. Right?
Yeah, it just makes it much easier for people. Well, the problem is that a lot of us can shoot that content, but trying to deliver that content to other people has become a real problem because
now they all have to have Vision Pros.
So now it's much easier to get people to not have to repackage it. They're making it easier for us to package. It's not that you couldn't do it before, but before it was kind of an art project, and so now it's a much more accessible project to put those things in. And so while they are still obviously pushing down the path of this new 180-degree Blackmagic camera, which interestingly enough they didn't talk about very much on the show, probably because it
showed it briefly. That's all they showed it. Yeah.
And then but they are making it, making sure that if you're not going to spend $30,000 on a camera, if you have $5,000, you can get an R5. These Insta360s are much less expensive, and you can still create content with those as well. So so I think that was a big step forward. Obviously, the biggest problem for the Apple Vision Pro is content. So making it easier for people to generate content is a big part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Well, based on that, I really wanted to ask you, is it a really big deal that now the Mac can render stuff out to the Vision Pro or stream stuff out to the Vision Pro and use the Vision Pro almost just as like a Mac accessory? Does that like make it more relevant and more important, or is that just that's nice for gaming, but whatever?
Yeah, I wasn't. I've talked to some folks that have been doing that, and they really like it. To me, that I have to admit that just didn't jump out as something that I needed, and so I haven't really applied myself. Haven't applied a lot of attention to it yet. I can put my Mac. I find that one of the things that was really interesting about the Vision Pro was the your eyes only. It is the most for your eyes only ever. Like you have registered, you put the headset on and said you are you, and now I could see some companies and organizations and even where they really want to make sure you're the only one watching. Because remember, that's kind of a protected space. It's very hard to record, right? So if you don't want people to screen record, you could theoretically, I could see companies buying these and saying, when we're having our top secret discussions or whatever, you got to put the headset on, to see what we're going to show you. And that way they can be sure you're not screen capturing, they can be sure you're not recording any other way. There's no really take a picture of it. There's no way to take a picture of it. So that's
you can now have multiple users in the same space, right?
I think that's going to be really great.
Everybody should buy Vision Pro, and you guys can watch a movie together.
Well, I think there's watching the movie together, but I think what they really showed there was the ability to interact with an object. So we'll look at something that we're working on, whether it's, and this has been something that the HoloLens could do for quite some time, which is that you have an engine or you have a piece of architecture that you're looking at, and you want to talk about it, not having the same space that you can stand in and talk about it. It makes a difference. Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Here's a video of a guy using MetaHuman to create a non-human.
Wow, look at that little character.
Yeah.